Hello there. My name is T.R. Welling, and I'm going to be demonstrating to you my tarot deck, brand new tarot deck. And the next step is to cut it sideways, but that's another video. Okay, this is how you lay out it. You lay out this deck: okay. Cups, swords, wands. Well, when it's cut in half, half of the try goes here and half of the try goes here, and this is pentacles. Or there's another number of different things. Um, there's spades, and there's hearts, spades. What was that? Sticks. Wands and such. And then there's of course the equivalency, the normal suit deck version of pentacles. It's all here. Okay, so this is how you lay it up, because you have spring, summer, fall. The year and the day are roughly equivalent. So this would be dusk. The half of this suit is dusk. The other half is dawn, because the dawn then goes back into spring, or morning. The equivalencies are rather obvious. So you have try, which is half of half. Half goes here, half goes here. Then there's pentacles. Okay, now the suit itself is ace through 8, and they're all ace through 8. I do not use an Arabic number system. The Arabic number system is 1 through 9. That was not invented until post 500 AD, 500 BC, excuse me. This is a much profoundly, by many, many millennia, older mathematical system. It is 8 characters, which pre-Arabic number system, pre-Arabic letter system, a character, whatever that character is, like this character, for instance, that character was both a letter and a number depending on how it was used. Until the Arabic number system 1 through 9, you did not have for instance, in English, therefore, whereas you have A and 1 are two different things. Before Arabic number system, A was A, and it was also 1, although that wasn't correct because A didn't exist until a certain point. This does not use an English Romance language Latin base format. This uses the Elder Futhark, and the Elder Futhark is Futharkgw for the first 8, which is both AETT and EIGHT. So there's 8 of them, but it sounds very, very similar, but it's also in an 8, AETT. So you have cups, swords, wands, try, pent, and major arcana. Now the major arcana is divided into 3 major sections. You have the first 8, which is both AETT, and there's 8 characters within that sequence. You have the second 8, which is the same thing, just the first, second. Then you have a third 8, and that makes 24. There's 24 here. There's 8 in the court, 8 in the suit, 8, and then there is a page, a knight, a queen, a king, and a wise one, which is roughly the equivalency of the non-edited down, modified version of the path of the Sphinx, the riddle of the Sphinx. What walks on 4 legs, 2 legs, then 3 legs? Well, that's the path of a human. A baby crawls, but before a baby can crawl, they just have to exist. So therefore you have a page who doesn't really know what they're doing yet. Then you have crawling knight. Then you have an established female who walks on 2 legs, and you have an established male who walks on 2 legs. And then you have something that walks on 3 legs, as in a cane, and that cane is an elder, a person who is no longer interested in the mundane things of life, of the conquest and and the um, the ideas of what drives younger people. They're more interested in sharing and reacting with their knowledge and their experience as in wise one. They have knowledge in their heads, so they're trying to impart their knowledge to the pages, the knights, the queens, and the kings, hoping that some of the information they have will rub off, and the same mistakes that the wise one made, the youngers won't make. So this is the court is separated out. Okay, now when it's cut down, this comes out like this, and of course this is divided in half. This goes here, but between here and here in the Major Arcana, this goes there, as in a straight line from here to here. Which this is this here would be the Capitoline Hill. This would be from the Temple of Concord to the Temple of Caesar in a circle, as in you can tell each of the cards has a built-in circle, and that circle is the Elder Futhark circle. And inside of the Elder Futhark circle is where and how the Hebrew character was created, and the Hebrew character would be part of the functionality and makeup of the Major Arcana, but it also indicates how it was made by the sounds, and then what it means. Okay. So that's that. So the court is here, and that would be the temple of the temple of Venus would be here, and then here would be. This layout doesn't really work that well for that, but it's close enough equivalency. The tri, the dawn part of the tri instead of the dusk part of the tri, that connects the temple of Venus to both the Colosseum swords. It's difficult to figure out a way that the gladiators in the Colosseum and such were not directly connected with the suit of swords. The word gladiator comes from the word gladius, and the word gladius is literally a type of sword. So it's difficult to separate the two out. So you have the Temple of Venus. Now the Temple of Venus, the court, the Temple of Venus, in life, there are leaders and then there are followers. There are royals and then there are commoners. Just because they're the different words doesn't mean they don't do basically the same equivalent job. So in the court that goes here, which is a representation of the Temple of Venus, it is the Temple of Venus is there in order to be able to have rules and regulations and guides and people who can direct the mob away from inappropriate activity toward appropriate activity, and form up the mob to be able to achieve a goal, good goal or bad goal depending on the leader, and or you guys need to break up the mob, and this part of the mob needs to go into the fields and do a whole bunch of farming stuff, and this part of the mob needs to go over and do some serious academic library thinking stuff, and this part of the mob needs to go and do craft skills and make the stuff that the scholars and the farmers need, and therefore it works in a mutually beneficial synchronistic environment. Well, that's what the court is for, is to go, okay, what do we need and how do we need it? How do we need how do we direct the aggressives to be able to achieve their goals? Do some aggressors need to get in the field and plow? Do some aggressors need to stand a post on the city wall to make sure that our enemies don't hurt us? The skills, the skill people, the craftsmen and such, the wands, the people with knowledge and education and such, how do we direct them to, okay, what do the source people need to go mine or go get whatever's necessary in order to be able to have supplies for the creative people in order to be able to build the things they need to build. Then you have the which is the transition people, and the transition people are there to help with the transitions back in and out, back and forth, as to, okay, how do we form up the mob to be able to achieve a good goal or bad goal, depending on the leader, or disband the mob in order to be able to achieve individual goals that smaller mobs are good at, but larger mobs will just mess it all up. So it's the court is all about how to use their brain, their mind, their education in order to be able to direct the commoners to achieve their goals. And no matter how you look at it, humans are still stuck in this model of they're locked in certain all the world is a theater, and all the people are mere players within that theater, quoting William Shakespeare, of course, who his play about Hamlet was literally based off of this concept, because you have the Capitoline Hill and the circle between the Temple of Concord and the Temple of Caesar. Then you have the Temple of Venus. Then you have then it becomes its own circle here, which is the Temple of Venus, and then the Colosseum and the Palace of Claudius, and then the Domus Julii. Well, this is the Colosseum. This would be the Temple of Venus. This would be the Palace of Claudius, and this would be the Domus Julii. And the Domus Julii, the Domus Julii, there's a between the Temple of Claudius and the Domus Julii is an aqueduct, and between the Domus Julii and the Temple of Venus, there's also an aqueduct. So there's a connectors between here architecturally, engineering wise, connecting these buildings together. So there's a lot of stuff going on. The reason why there was a connection to those buildings that was there is because of the Memento Mori ceremony. Now, the Memento Mori ceremony is divided into several parts, which are reflected in the construction of the situation, not just in basic of the seasons, but you have the Memento Mori ceremony. Part 0 would be just a group of people connected, as in a mob. Part 1A, swords. Part 1B would be the reaction of violence to people. That'd be 1B. And 1B is an emotional response to whatever. 1A is violence or assault or something to that effect. 1B is an emotional response. Then you have what goes out comes back. So if you do something on an electromagnetic format, whatever religion, whatever theocracy, whatever you want, words you want to use, you want to pray, you want to cast a spell, not just different words for basically the same thing. That's where the 1A and 1B go to the other side, go to some kind of a ethereal Akashic record, astral plane, quantum field, the afterlife, heaven, whatever. There's 1,000 different words to use to basically explain the same thing. Well, that goes when it comes back, that's the Pentacles. But the journey out is half the suit of Tri, and when it comes back, it's how it's applied through the Pentacles, through the ideas and applications of the Okay, use the mind, use the brain, do scholarly things, remove the things about you that are not good or that were childish, and you need to mature, or you need to think better about it, or you need to apply education, because every subject in the world, there's someone who knows more about it than you do, or you're the expert, and you need to apply part that knowledge to other people. But there's some things that there's if you're an expert in X, the entire rest of the alphabet you don't know very much about. So you need people who do know about those subjects to teach you. That's how the synchronicity situation works. So you have the synchronicity, how you work together, how a community works together. Well, I'm explaining an excessively nice and extremely G-rated version of the ceremony, because you have violence, a sacrifice, for lack of a better description, and mass murder on a basis was SOP for the Coliseum. In fact, the Coliseum, that's what they did every time they had an event. People had their mortal coil had an issue with that. So there's an emotional equivalence. There's an emotional reaction to that from both the victim and the perpetrator and the people who were just watching. Then you had the leaders, the temple, the palace of Claudius. You had the leaders then go, okay, how do we manage what needs to happen in order to be able to have the most successful society possible? Well, some societies need a whole lot less violence, and some societies need a whole lot more violence. So how do we, as the court, manage that? And then how do we, over time, make bigger, not just day-to-day, yearly adjustments, but how do we make generational, culture-wide adjustments to come away from the bad and go toward the good? And then the assistance and input and such from the divine into the Major Arcana. Now, that's the most basic of basic overviews of how the deck works. The individual structure, on the other hand, is one would be Fehu, F, and that is applying strength, applying priorities. 1 is priorities, 2 is strength, 3 is boundaries, 4 is how to communicate what your boundaries are, what your strengths are, what your priorities are to everyone around you. 5 is how to walk. 5 would be how to walk those priorities, how to do what you need to do within those priorities. Everything's based on priorities. Priorities is establishing your priorities, finding the strength from those priorities. Priorities, strength, and then use the strength to be able to create boundaries between what you morally, ethically, character-wise, culture-wise, whatever, what is okay with you, what is not okay with you. What are your 3 categories? Category A is completely acceptable with you in all ways, shapes, and forms, all good to go, wonderful, fantastic. Category B is gray area. Well, it's okay. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not okay, but it's very, very gray area. C is never okay, not okay, period, end of story. No, hard no, never okay, no. No, red, safe word, stop, no, flag on the play, stop, cease and desist all activity. That's 3. Now, this is your boundaries. These 3 things are what your boundaries are. But you need to mix your boundaries with everyone else's boundaries, whether or not they have very many boundaries, or they have a lot of boundaries, or and how they apply their strengths to enforcing their boundaries. That's priorities. The priority of your boundaries. Well, you need to apply your strength to your boundaries to be able to interact with them. But you also have to communicate what your boundaries are through a proper application of strength, to be able to apply your priorities through your strength, through your boundaries, to your to everyone, to communication with everyone around you, in order to be able to have to determine what your A, B, and C boundaries are, of what is acceptable and what not acceptable boundaries, and then walk that path correctly in order to be able to interact with people. To interact with people, 7 is 6. 7 is how to successfully interact with people. 6 is wisdom and knowledge and understanding. To be able to put this into action with those are with the 6 is how to do an interaction with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How to start walking that path. Well, 6 becomes you have to interact with people and you have to adjust your boundaries with the people with as you walk, as you adjust your boundaries with your walk. You're going to encounter people who are weaker-willed, stronger-willed, have a stronger will, have some people are by themselves and have a strong will. Some people are only strong in a group. Some groups are very, very strong individually and the group together. Some groups have a lot of weak people and a couple of strong leaders who direct them to do what they want to do, what the leader wants to do, and not necessarily what the people want to do, but the people are too weak to be able to say, no, this isn't okay. My boundaries are, this is not, this is gray area or not okay, but I'm in a group that won't allow me to say, no, this is not okay. So how you apply your boundaries to the world around you is 6. 7 is finding the people who are good and finding the people who you need to go, no, go away, no. You do too much C and not enough A. So thank you, but no thanks. To be able to come up with a 8 harmonious interaction with yourself, with your boundaries, with your walk, with your ability to communicate what your boundaries are, what your strengths are, what your priorities are, to be able to walk that, to be able to determine how you can interact with your knowledge, your understanding, your processing of information. 6, 2 good people that you can work with in order to be able to have a good network of 8 is a good network of people who you can work with, you can interact with yourself. You have a good working relationship with yourself, with your boundaries, what your ABC are. Your A is, as a reminder, A is this is always good all the time. B is gray area. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not okay. And C is never okay at all, period. No matter what circumstances, this is not okay. So as you create your 8, your EIGHT, which happens to form a complete sphere, as you form your 8, EIGHT, this card, that card, well, no, that's 6. That's 8. This card and this card, as you form your 8 card, your 8s, as you form the 8 of them, that is 7. As you form your, that was flipped. I was looking at 8 earlier. As you form your 8, as you form that, you're creating your W, your Wunjo, your complete sphere. Now with that sphere, center is 1. Depending on some situations, you go up is 2, down is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then destination, where you want to go, what you want to do. The forward is just a direction. 7 is just a direction. How you can go forward, where you want to. Okay, let's put the car in, or the vehicle or the feet in a direction to start walking. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have to adjust your path because you're going to hit a wall or a door or a curb, or you're going to have to turn the car to be able to navigate to some place specifically, because the road you're on does not go directly to your front door. There's not a road directly in front of your front door that goes straight as an arrow to your grandmother's house, for lack of a better metaphoric description. that road does not go straight between your house and your grandmother's house, so, or the store, or your job, or something. You have to make some rotations. You have to make some turns and do some other stuff. You also have other errands to achieve between your house and your destination. Well, that's 8. Destination is how do you navigate around all the obstacles in order to achieve your goals. 7 allows you to assess how to differentiate between A, B, and C, as well as A, B, and C could be a, right now I want to interact with any kind of given X, a given situation. I don't want to interact most of the time with B, and I refuse to have anything to do with C. So you have to identify, okay, this neighborhood, I never want to go in this neighborhood, period. This other neighborhood, I love this neighborhood, and this is the neighborhood or the area of town that I want to be in, and I don't really want to venture out of that neighborhood. Well, that's A would be that the good neighborhood, and the neighborhood you want nothing to do with is a C neighborhood. Well, that's how, everything in your life is metaphorically these descriptions. How they apply to your life, that is entirely your path, your decisions to make, and as to how they apply. And the Major Arcana is the bigger picture as to how that applies. After you get through 8, 1 center, 2 up, 3 down, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 destination. Well, this destination is not just one destination. This destination, that destination, this destination. Your entire life is a sequence of destinations. That's where the Major Arcana comes in, is to give you guidance and understanding of how to do destination after destination after destination, because this 8, EATT, creates this 8, creates that 8, creates that 8, creates 8 after 8, creates 8 after 8 after 8 after 8 after 8 after 8 after 8, which is the path of your life. Not just one situation, not just 1 hour, not 1 minute, hour, day, week, month, year, generation, but several generations, several decades. You're going to be living, you have decades and decades of your life. So this is about taking the big picture and compressing it down to what do you need today, right now, this minute, to be able to achieve the longest long-term goal that would be there. So that is my deck. So this is my tarot deck. When I get it cut down, I'll do a couple readings with it, and to bring this into it with the degree marks and such, I'll bring that into it, and I will as well as do that, I'll pull in some I'll also cover a circuit board, and then have it in the Temple of Venus, and the Colosseum, and the Palace of Claudius, the Domus Julii, and then I'll put the try in place, and then I'll describe the circuit board from Capitoline Hill to the circles of this to this, and then describe where the clocks are. There's several clocks built into this sequence, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button, and hit the bell to remind you when more videos come up. So this is I've got about 4 to 6 hours worth of information to relay. I won't make one until I make all the small ones. I won't compress them into one big, huge, gigantic video, but over time I'll be making more and more videos, because I've got about 4 to 6 hours worth of lectures all in my head ready to go. So thank you very much for everything, and keep watching. Thank you.